Well, are you a people pleaser? Here are some tips to stop feeling like a doormat and start powerful tips, daily affirmations for healing. So, are you a people pleaser? People pleasers often find it difficult to say no to requests or favours, even when it inconveniences them or goes against their own interests. That was me for a while. I would always say yes. At school, when I was teaching, if they wanted a job done, I was one of the first to put my hand up to say, yes, I'll do it and take it on board. And then with people asking me to do things, yes, I would do it. And it took some time to realize that I was the yes woman. And I was leaving myself behind and I needed to start to say no. So I'm Margarita, Mindset Matters, and come with me as we continue along this journey. Second point is avoiding conflict. Man, I just did not like conflict. I just would step back and I would smooth the waters regardless of what was happening. Conflict was just, something to be totally avoided. Number three, seeking external validation. Are you unable to take on board your own validation and yet you seek other people's validation of what you do? Number four, over apologizing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. How many times do we say, I'm sorry for that, when in actual fact, no, you're not sorry. And instead of accepting that, sorry, it was interesting the other day. I had a phone call and I didn't get to answer it. And I thought, text back and say, I'm sorry I didn't get to answer it. And I thought, no, I'm not sorry. There was something else that I was doing. So I rephrased that and said, unfortunately, I was unable to without having the I'm sorry. Number five, self-neglect. People pleasers often take responsibility for other people's feelings and needs. They feel it's their responsibility to make sure other people are feeling good and have their needs met. No, that's not up to us to do it. That's up to the individual. Number six, difficulty setting boundaries. My gosh, was that me? I could set boundaries at school for the students and myself, but setting boundaries for other people was so difficult. And it's something I've had to learn to do. Number seven, fear of rejection. Now, that's a big one for just about all of us. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be part of a group. And that is really important. And when we feel pushed out or pushed aside, that doesn't feel so good. It's fear of rejection. We all have this deep-seated fear of being rejected or being disapproved of. So if you think you have some people-pleasing tendency, know this. You most likely learned to be a people pleaser from the time you were very, very young. But here's the good news. If you learn to be a people pleaser, you can unlearn the habit of people pleasing. So, the danger of being a people pleaser: loss of authenticity. One of the most significant dangers of being a people pleaser is the gradual erosion of your authenticity. When your primary goal is to please others, you often suppress your true thoughts, feelings, and desires. Your emotional exhaustion. Wow, you are so busy pleasing other people that, yes, your time and your energy is zapped from you. Boundary issues. People pleasers often struggle with setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. You find yourself saying yes to every request and slyly, saying yes to so many things that you're last. This can lead to overwhelming commitments and a lack of time for your own self-care. And there are my dogs barking at something outside in the dark. Difficulty in decision-making, my gosh. Decision-making can become a daunting task for people pleasers. Why? Because they're so busy thinking of how it's going to affect other people and what the repercussions are going to be, that they fear making the choice for their own true self. So in turn, this hinders personal growth and progress. How to stop people pleasing. Step 1, stop, pause, take a deep breath. If somebody asks you to do something, you might feel compelled to say yes, as you have done in the past, but take time to stop and think about it. Is this something that you really want to do? Is this something you have time for? Do you get happiness out of doing this? So the next time somebody asks you to do something for them, pause, take a breath. And if you're unsure about the request, it's perfectly safe to say, I'm not sure that I can answer that right at this very minute. Or if you want to say no, let's go and be strong and say, I'm not sure that that's going to work for me right now. Be strong and get to learn to say no. Number 2, knowing that it's okay to say no, having the confidence to say no. My gosh, how were we brought up, the baby boomers anyway, that to say no was, wow, a real no-no. We were always taught to, yes, mum, no, dad, 3 bags full type thing, and to push forward and people please, right? So, some ways to practice this saying no. Practice self-awareness. Pay attention to your feelings and your emotions. Be clear and direct. When you decide to say no, do so clearly and directly. No is actually a sentence all by itself. Learn to use I statements. Frame your responses in your own needs and limitations. For example, that's not going to work for me at this point in time. I need to focus on my own work right now. This shows your willingness to own your work and to respect your own boundaries. Visualize the positive outcomes of saying no. Think about the positive aspects. It allows you to focus on your priorities. It reduces stress after you've learned to say the no and be confident in that no. It reduces overwhelm because you are not bouncing around dancing to other people's pleasures and requests. And number 3, and the most important probably, let go of the guilt. You are not there to serve everybody else. I love Abraham Hicks' story, her concept of be selfish. Look after yourself first. So you are not there to serve other people. As such, look after yourself and do not be the servant of others. So, forgot where I was at. Dear. Okay, so trust that sits well with you. And I'm Margarita, and Mindset Matters. And these live presentations are getting better. Edit. There we go.